So guys, this is my review for Hajime no Ippo episode 64, and with that, let's just jump right into this review. Let's get it. So guys, we actually did continue this basically this filler where it was just focused on the homies, Oiki and Kimura here. They pretty much we got a chance to get the introduction of them meeting Chief for the first time, walking in with their fancy haircuts and stuff. Chief wasn't with it, kicked them out, made them go get haircuts and stuff like that. It was really hilarious. But we get the chance to see them actually working, in the beginning of them working into the love of boxing, basically for themselves. Ultimately we find out why they're doing what they're doing and why they're making the decision to join the gym and to get into boxing. But they were striving for one specific goal, but of course all of that kind of changed as the episode progressed. Now I do love the fact that their goal was to basically their ultimate goal was to hit Taka, because they had such uh, their focus was just so totally driven by this longing and wanting to hit to basically punch Taka in the face, to basically beat him in a fight. But of course, they get this. They first and foremost they tire him out, which I did enjoy the fact that they as they were going into their training and stuff, they felt like it wasn't really working, wasn't doing anything, because every time they sparred with him, they were losing all the time. But I do like the fact that even in this moment where Kimura grazes Taka's face, that it still motivated them even more, excited them even more. But at the same time, even with them getting where it felt like this was a very 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 small win for them, they still went to spar and still lost against Taka anyway. But again, I do like the fact that they got this small little, very teeny small victory for themselves that motivated them into getting better at a craft that, again, they really weren't fully invested in. Like I said, even though they weren't fully invested in this, they, like I said, they noticed specific things that were occurring when they were sparring with Taka, and noticing differences in the changes of their style of fighting and stuff. That because it became kind of like muscle memory for them. These changes really did stick with them moving forward. Again, it's just a learning experience. That you fall 1,000 times, but you get up 1,001 times, right? You get up that 1,001 time. You pick yourself back up, and you continue to keep moving forward. And that's what drove them to get to where we pretty much see coming up in this next scene here, where it just really just shifted in such a positive way for both of them. And that pretty much is the fact that Kimura and his fight, and of course Aoki and his, that they had to have basically have Taka kind of motivate both of them, more so Kimura, but with him making the mention of Aoki, the one playing with himself basically, but um you know and Kimura correcting him. But of course the crowd only heard from the standpoint of what Taka was talking about with Kimura, but it's still shifted. And he, of course, him even remembering, Ogi remembering their training, the sparring with Taka, it just really helped to get them to the place where they needed to be, and that was comfortable, and figure out their opponent and their fighting style, and realizing that that I believe it was Kimura that said it, like he's like, my opponent is fast, he hits hard, but he doesn't remind me of the monster that is Taka, that this brute force of a person that I sparred with over the roughly 5-6 months. Very dangerous guy. So it was just great to see them get to this place where it was just like, hey, there's a reason why I was doing this. Yeah, it was there was a main goal for this, and that was to get and attack Taka. I just really like the fact that boxing, even though they weren't fully invested, their drive to basically hit Taka motivates them more to be able to get more invested in something as boxing that will push them into becoming the people, the men that they are, boxers that they are now, 5 years later, 6 years later. So just really, really great episode when it's pertaining to them and their growth, starting from when they first walked through the doors of the gym up to this point, in the basically in their first fight, basically being the curtain raisers, basically. And so I really just loved episode 64 and 63. I just loved the dynamic between these two, the bond that they specifically have, and the connection when it's pertaining to boxing and Taka. Even though still, even 5, 6 years later, still their goal that they want to get to a place where they were able to hit Taka in the face. But again, they are grateful. They're thankful to Taka that, yeah, I feel like they really are thankful to Taka that he put them in such a place, in such of a mindset to be able to get into something like this, to motivate and push them to be somebody that they felt like that they probably more than likely would have never become had they never met Taka, the 5, 6 years ago. So in those moments, so I believe that, again, respect and gratefulness for meeting Taka and getting into boxing really just, it just, to me, is just a great thing in my book when it's pertaining to Kimura and Oiki here. I just really just love these characters, even though, again, they're side characters, but they still play a key role as far as the crew of the anime itself. So episode 63 and 64 were really fun, were really good, really funny. I just really enjoyed these episodes, guys. But leave some comments in the comments, guys, if you feel up to. What did you all think of episode 64 when you watched it? What did you all think of Kimura and Oiki here? Let's talk about some things below. But other than that, I will talk to you all next time with more Hajime no Ippo. Peace, guys.